Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my travel traditions with all of you. And over the years, a lot of people have started labeling us as a professional traveler. And to an extent we are. We do find ourselves out on the roads or in the air quite regularly. But this does not mean that there's planning that is involved prior, during and after a trip. And one of my weaknesses, if I may, is packing. It's not my most enjoyable part of a safari, and my packing usually goes into the very same duffel bag every single time, and this is an orange K-Way duffel bag, and this is usually packed about a week in advance. Yes, a week in advance. I'm not that kind of guy who can just chuck everything in 2 hours before I have to leave for the airport. I like to pack well in advance to ensure that I have a week's grace to think of things that I may have forgotten to pack over that period of a week. But a few essential items that I do like to pack into my travel bag is a nice warm beanie and a much warmer buff. And the wild eye buff is also an essential item, but that red one you would have seen is a lined buff, so it's got a nice warm fleecy layer and it can keep you warm if need be, because Africa, yes, can get cold. So a beanie and a buff are vital. The next very important piece, or few pieces of equipment that I like to pack, is my training gear. So this is sneakers, a skipping rope, and a resistance band. And this only comes into use if and when we find a gap between helping guests out in the field or back in camp with Lightroom. And it's just a good way to kind of break up the day, clear the mind, sweat a little, refresh yourself, and then make your way out on your afternoon safari. And also a big thing that I do prior to traveling is cleaning all my gear, so everything that's in my camera bag, clean everything up nicely, rearrange it, pack it where it needs to be. And obviously cameras and binoculars all get put in the same place every time, but there are things that aren't always in the camera bag that also have specific places that they need to be in. So my power bank to charge up my phone, my wallet, my passport, everything goes in the same spot every single time. So it kind of becomes a habit and a routine, and this also just helps you remember where certain things are. Once at or getting to the airport, I usually always travel either, if it's chilly, with the Wild Eye black hoodie on. If it's not that cold, it's always accessible and easy to reach, because firstly it is super comfy, it is very warm, and this is usually accompanied by a pair of jeans and a comfortable pair of shoes. And no, I don't always lie down on the airport floors when I travel. The reason I was on the floor in that particular image is because it was a 1 a.m. flight that got delayed to about 2:30 a.m. So I was just exhausted and I was relaxing on the ground. But once out on the plane, or prior to getting on the plane even, I like to book a aisle seat when traveling to a destination, because usually it is at a more respectable time. You're not really tired, you don't want to sleep middle of the day. So an aisle seat is comfortable, good for folk like myself who have a bit of a longer stretch to the leg. But then en route back, I always like to secure a window seat because you can sleep up against this. So that's kind of my seating preference. But once up airborne and off I go, once I land in that destination and I'm on safari, there is a particular cap I always wear. And this is the very first cap that I'd received from the Wild Eye team way back in, I think it was 2015 maybe, during a Wild Eye seminar at Sabi Sabi. I was still a lodge-based guide. I still have that cap. I still wear that cap on safari to this day. I get given a new one every year, but I don't know, there's just something about that cap. I really like the look, the feel, the style, but also the sentimental value of that cap. So there's always that cap I wear along with all the other Wild Eye gear that we have. Another must have with me on safari is my Garmin watch, because obviously this helps me keep track of my day-to-day activity. So the watch is a big must. And then once down on the ground, if I'm traveling to Kenya, for example, our guides know how we operate and what we are looking for and what our interests and goals on that particular safari are. So it's usually just a nice catch up with all of them, a selfie with whoever comes and picks us up at the airstrip. But a big thing I do on safaris to destinations where the local guides do not know us, do not know Wildeye, is once we arrive at the lodge, check in, I send the guests off to their room to settle in, and then I usually sit down for about 20 minutes or so with the local guide and just briefing them as to what our objectives are on the safari. Obviously it's photographically inclined, so there's certain things we're looking for. He keeps his role as the guide and shares information and knowledge. My role is to help him position the vehicle for best photographic opportunities. So just basic things like that. Then the safari is enjoyed, and then en route back, usually once at the airport, catch up on all the emails, and during this I enjoy a nice cold beer and the last one for that trip. I hope that you've enjoyed a few of my stories, and I hope that it helps you pack in the future. But until next time, have a good day and bye-bye.